Moksha Sannyas Yoga, the 18th chapter. Now we start of the Bhagavad Gita. Here we are. Arjuna Ovach. Arjuna spoke. What did he speak? He's asking now, extremely important. I think the gist of the Bhagavad Gita is now coming to us because Arjuna is going to ask a very relevant question, extremely relevant question, which will provide us the conclusion. It's the last chapter, the concluding chapter, final chapter. What is he asking? Sannyasasya mahabaho tattvam ichhami veditum त्यागस्य च ऋषिकेश पृथक केशी नि Sudana. So he is using extremely interesting adjective epithets for Bhagwan Krishna. What is he calling Bhagwan Krishna? He is calling him Mahabaho. Mahabaho means large armed ones, great arms ones, the great armed ones. Krishna was using that epithet for Arjuna all these previous chapters, but now Arjuna is calling Krishna the great warrior, one with great arms. And Rishikesh, of course, that's the epithet for Krishna, the bristling-haired one. And also Keshi Nishudan, so one who killed the demon Rakshasa Keshan. So three adjectives Arjuna has used for Bhagwan. So what is the question? Sannyasasya mahabaho tattvam ichhami veditum. Veditum. I want to know, ichhami, I desire to know what? Tattvam, the gist of the reality of sannyas, the renunciation, tyagasi, and of sacrifice. And so I wish to know the truth of sannyasa, O Krishna, and of renunciation, and the difference between them. Tyagasya and sannyasasya and prithak. What separates renunciation and sacrifice? Extremely interesting question. Because that time and even today, the debate is always raging. Should we live a life of householder, or should we renounce everything and become ascetics? Like Buddhists and Jains have been advocating for last more than 2 millennia that everyone must renounce, especially Jainism. You must renounce. Unless you have renounced your family life, your wealth, you are not eligible for moksha. You are not really leading a truly spiritual life. You must become a sadhu. You must become a sadhvi to be a moksha aspirant, mumukshu for Jainism especially. So the question is from Arjuna to get advice, get an insight from Krishna. So how does Bhagwan Krishna replies? Shri Bhagwan Ovach, the blessed Lord spoke, what? Kamya nam karmanam nyasam sannyasam kavayo viduhu sarva karma phalat tyagam prahuhu tyagam vichakshanaha. Kamyanam karmanam nyasam sannyasam kavayo viduhu. Kavayo means the wise people, so-called sages, so-called wise people. They advocate renunciation or sacrifice or leaving all kinds of desires. Kamyanam, karmana, all kinds of actions. Nyasam, sannyasam. That is the sannyasam, that is the renunciation, traditionally speaking. But Bhagwan Krishna has now redefined the word sannyasa in these words. Sarva karma phalatyagam. To renounce the fruits of your actions is the true sacrifice. So the relinquishment of actions prompted by desire, the sages understand as sannyas. The relinquishment of the fruit of all action, the wise declared to be renunciation. So Bhagwan Krishna has now redefined the word renunciation. Sannyas. Third, verse 3. Tyajyam doshavat iti eke karma prahuhu manishinaha yajna dan tapa karma na tyajyam iti cha apare. Tyajyam doshavat iti eke karma prahuhu manishina. So-called scholars, so-called wise people of wisdom, have been declaring, they declare, Tyajyam karma prahuhu, they declare, what? That action is to be abandoned. Tyajyam doshavat iti eke karma. Karma itself is like a dosh, demerit. That actions to be, it's full of evil. Possibly here say evil, but I would say probably demerit. Action itself is demerit, so renounce it. But Bhagwan Krishna says, Yajna, Dan, Tapaha, Karma, Na Tyajyam iti cha apare. But even more wise people, wiser people, like Bhagwan Krishna himself is redefining, these are never to be renounced. Never stop doing yajnas, never stop doing dhanam, donations, never stop doing tapaha, austerities, And these are the actions never to be abandoned. Verse 4th. Nishchayam shunu me tatra. Now he's more assertive. Bhagavan Krishna is more assertively saying, Nishchayam shunu, listen, me tatra tyage bharata sattama tyagah hi purush vyagra trividha samprakirtitaha. My conclusion, my nishchay, my final verdict is this. What? Concerning renunciation. About tyaga, what do I declare? Arjuna, renunciation is declared to be of three kinds. So he is not going to define renunciation, sannyasa of three kinds. Tyagaha, he Purush Vyagra. He is calling Arjuna a tiger among the men. Purush Vyagra. Right? Tiger among men, yes. Trividha Sampra. So the renunciation is of three kinds. Trividha Samprakirtitaha. As declared, as widely known. Samprakirtitaha, widely known. I'm going to now share with you the three kinds of renunciation. Yatnya dan tapaha karma na tyajyam karyam evatat. Yatnyah danam tapah cha eva pavanani manishinam. These are the most pious acts. So never to be renounced, to be stopped. Yajna, sacrifice, fire rituals. Dana, donation. Tapa, austerities. Natyajyam, never to be renounced. Karyam evatat, they are to be done always. Yajna dana tapah cha eva pavanani. These are extremely pious, most pious acts. So always keep doing that. Acts of sacrifice, giving, and austerity are not to be abandoned, but rather to be performed. Sacrifice, giving, and austerity are purifiers of those who are wise. That's the one, nice one. Pavanani, purifier. I just said pious, but the translator here says purifiers. So they purify the people who are doing these actions. Nice one. Then verse 6. Etani apitu karmani sangam tyaktva phalani cha kartavyani iti me partha nishchitam matam uttamam. What you have to renounce is the attachment, which we have seen in previous chapters. Sangam tyaktva. Sangam is attachment, tyaktva, having abandoned. Phalanicha. Though attachment to the fruits of action is to be abandoned, not the action itself. As we all know very well, the most famous verse, Karmanyavadhikaraste ma phala shivaraja kadacham. So these actions, however, are to be performed, abandoning attachment to the fruits. That is my definite and highest belief. This is my final opinion. Belief is not the word I would like to prefer for the word matam. This is my matam. This is my opinion. This is my verdict probably. This is my final verdict. Nishchitam matam. I'm convinced. This is my opinion. Bhagavan Krishna says, Uttamam are the best. What is the best? These are the best duties to be always keep doing. What? All, like we saw, fire rituals and donations and tapaha are always to be done. But the fruits, attachment to the fruits of action are to be renounced. Verse 7th. Niyatasya tu sannyasah karmanah na upapadyate mohat tasya parityagah tamasah parikirtitah. If you renounce everything, all these actions of yajna or fire rituals and donations and tapa, if you renounce everything, even actions, then you are in tamas, you are in darkness, you are in ignorance. Don't do that. It's very strictly saying, do not renounce actions. Do not renounce all these acts. What is saying? Renunciation. Nirtasya tu sannyasah karmana na upapadyate. Renunciation of obligatory actions. Niyatasya tu sannyasah karmana na upapadyate. Niyata, these are the niyat karma. Every day you have to do these actions. So these are the obligatory actions to be done every day with discipline. So do not renounce. So renounce then is na upapadyate, is not proper. Upapadyate is not recommended. Mohat, so with some illusion, moha is illusion. Mohat tasya parityagasya. If you renounce them out of some silly illusion, tamasaha parikirtitah, that will be proclaimed to be tamasic, ignorance, darkness, not to be done. 18th verse 8th. Dukham iti eva yat karma kaya klesh bhayat tyajet sakritva rajasam tyagam na eva tyaga phalam labhet. Dukham iti eva yat karma. This action is full of suffering. Kaya klesh bhayat tyajet. So with a fear of suffering to my body, if I renounce actions, sakritva rajasam tyagam. So that would be rajasic tyag, not sattvic tyag. Na eva tyaga phalam labhet. So renouncing such an action will not lead to auspicious desired benefit. There is no because it's not sattvic tyag. It is done out of fear or out of fear of suffering. So that's not the real authentic renunciation according to Bhagavan Krishna's definition in the Bhagavad Gita. Right? Verse 9. Karyam iti eva yat karma नियतं क्रियते अर्जुन संगम त्यक्त्वा फलं च एव सत्यागः सात्विकः matah. My opinion, my conclusion, my verdict is, Bhagavan Krishna says, tyaga, renunciation, sacrifice is sattvic, satyaga, satvika matah. Karyam iti yat karma. Has to be done. This is niyat karma. You just cannot renounce actions. This has to be done. Niyat kriyate Arjuna. Oh Arjuna, niyat kriyate. This has to be done every day. Sangam tyaktva, but renounce the attachment. Sangam tyaktva is the key word, key phrase that he is using throughout the Bhagavad Gita. Sangam tyaktva phalam cha eva. Renounce the fruit of the action. Attachment to the fruit of the action has to be renounced. Satyaga satvikaha matah. That is the sattvic renunciation according to Bhagavan Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. All right. Verse 10th, chapter 18th. Nadveshtya akushalam karma kushale na anushajjate tyagi sattva samavishtaha medhavi chinna sanshayah. The real wise person, medhavi, medha, not megha. Megha would be cloud, megha, chaya, adhira, whatever. Medha is buddhi. Medha is also buddhi that is to be sacrificed during fire ritual, during yajna. So Ashwamedha yajna. So sacrifice of horse in the fire ritual. Ashwamedha yajna. So buddhi has to be also sacrificed. So medhavi. So medha means has two meanings. Buddhi, intellect, also that which has to be sacrificed. So real fire ritual is, real yatna is when our intellect, when our mind, when our intelligence is offered to higher purpose, spiritual purposes. So medhavi. Medhavi chinna sanshaya. So such a person with that high intellect, dedicated for spiritual work, is chinna sanshaya. That person's doubts are chinna, broken away, removed. Medhavi chinna sanshaya. How? Because that person na dveshtaya akushalam karma. If the action is inconvenient, that person does not hate an inconvenient action as Arjuna is hating, that he has to now kill his uncles and cousins and teacher and so on. It's not convenient, it's not favorable. So he is avoiding such an action he was tending to avoid. So now, this being the chapter 18th, Bhagavan Krishna is now giving him the final punchlines, final conclusions, final verdict. So he's saying, directly he's saying, a wise person is not supposed to hate inconvenient action. Kushale na anushajjate. Kushale na anushajjate. And if an action is very convenient, you're not supposed to get attached. If an action is inconvenient, you're not supposed to hate it. If an action is convenient, you're not supposed to get attached. Tyagi sattva samavishtaha. The real renouncer is always filled with sattvic ideas, does not hate disagreeable action, does not prefer agreeable action. And so, man of renunciation, the wise man whose doubt is cut away, is filled with goodness, filled with sattva, sattvic tendencies, and renounce the attachment to the fruit of action. So that will make you sattvic. That is how one should perform, keep performing the real action, the real duties, daily duties. Niyatam karo. 11th verse, chapter 18. Nahi deha bhrita shakyam tyaktum karmani asheshatah. There was some typo here in the book itself. Tyaktum karmani asheshatah. Yah tu karma phala tyagi sa tyagi iti abhidhiyate. Who is the real renouncer? Abhidhiyate is known, well known, called real abandoner, one who renounces the action, fruit of the action. Yah tu karma phala tyagi. Karmasya phala tyagi. Renouncing the fruit of the action. Once again, the same idea is coming back in stronger, assertive tone from Bhagavan Krishna for Arjuna and for all of us. So, nahi deha britam shakyam. As long as we have bodies, we cannot renounce actions. We have to keep performing action. We have to breathe, we have to eat, drink, walk, and so on. So actions cannot be completely renounced. Even Bhagavan Mahavir in Jainism had these aghatiya karma that forced him to live until the age of 70. Even in Jainism, there are two kinds of karma, ghati karma and aghati karma. So aghati karma cannot be renounced even by somebody who has attained Keval Gyan in Jainism. One has to live his life. So, and living life itself is karma in Jainism. And here Bhagavan Krishna is saying similar thing. Nahi deha, as long as you have body, you cannot tyaktum karmani asheshata. You cannot renounce all actions. So what you can renounce is fruit, attachment to the fruit of action. Amazing, unique philosophy of the Bhagavad Gita, renouncing the fruit of the action, not the action itself. Unlike Buddhism and Jainism. Verse 12. Anishtam ishtam mishram cha trividham karmanam phalam bhavati atyaginam pretya natu sannyasinam Kvachit. For those who are real renouncers, na tu sannyasinam kvachit, whatsoever, not whatsoever, bhavati atya, but those who have not properly renounced their attachment to fruits of action, will have three kinds of results of their actions: anishtam, unfavorable; ishtam, desired; or mishram, mixed up. Undesired, desired, or mixed results can come from the actions of those who have not renounced properly. But those who have renounced the attachment to the fruit of action have no consequences to be faced. So, the fruit of action for those who have not renounced, when they depart, when they die, pretya here means die, death. Pret, but pret is referring to dead body. So, after death. So, fruit of action for those who have not renounced, when they depart, is threefold: evil, good, and mixed. But for the renouncers, there is none whatsoever. There is nothing to be worried about if you have really renounced the attachment to fruits of action. Verse 13th. Panch etani mahabaho karanani nibodhume. Panch etani. Panch, fruit punch, has 5 fruits supposedly. This is panch because it has 5 fingers. And now panch word comes. Panch is a Sanskrit word which is in English punch, fruit punch and so on. So panch etani mahabaho, O Arjuna, karanani nibodhume, sankhye kritante proktani, siddhaye sarva karmanam. As Sankhya philosophy, one of the major philosophy, one of the most influential philosophical traditions, Astika philosophical traditions in Indian philosophy is Sankhya, and it lists 5 big causes for all actions done by all human beings. What are those? So, Panch etani mahabaho karanani nibodh. So, I am going to explain to you the 5 actions as mentioned in Sankhya. For the end, so learn from me, O Arjuna, these 5 factors declared in the Sankhya doctrine for the accomplishment of all actions. What are those 5 factors? Adhishthanam tatha karta karanam cha prithak vidham vividhaha cha prithak cheshta daivam cha eva atra panchamam. These are the 5 factors. Which are these factors? Adhishthanam, that is seat of action, the body itself, which will perform the action. Karta, the doer, the agent within the body, within the embodied being. Karanam, the various organs, limbs and so on, mind and so on. And then Vividha Prathak Cheshta. Daivam, and the divinity residing in you is also involved in doing these actions. So, seat of the action, the body, the doer, the agent, the various organs, the limbs, and the various separate activities with the presiding deities as the 5th. So, these are the 5 factors that perform actions: body, doer, organs, various activities, and the presiding deities within the embodied being. Verse 15th. Sharir vak manobhihi yat karma prarabhate narah nyayayam va vipritam va panch ete tasya hetavaha. What are the 5 factors that cause actions by us, all of us? So, these are the sharir vak manabhi. Whatever action a person undertakes with his body, speech or mind, sharir vak manabhi. These are the 5 factors. Which are the 5 factors, 5 actions? We just saw in the previous verse. Seat of action, the body, the doer, the various organs, limbs, etc., various separate activities, and finally the most important is the presiding deity inside all of us. That's the Advait Vedanta philosophy. Brahman resides in all beings. So not just person's body and person's limbs and person's agency, but the divinity inside the person is also involved in action. So that's verse 15. Now verse 16. So if that is the point, if divinity is already inside, then what happens? Tatra evam sati kartaram atmanam kevalam tu yaha pashyati akrita buddhitvan na sa pashyati durmati. But the durmati, the one who has corrupt intelligence, corrupt intellect, cannot really see the divinity sitting inside one's body, mind, and body-mind complex, and divinity is equally involved in performing action. If we fail to see that, we are all durmatis. We have all corrupt mind, corrupt intellect. So this being so, one who sees his self as a doer does not really see, because of the fact that that person has not perfected his understanding, that accomplished understanding. The developed mind always realizes that divinity is sitting inside us, and that is the one who is the actual doer of all our actions, by body, by mind, or by speech. We are not the doers. The divinity inside us is the actual doer. Easy to say, but hard to remember that for all of us. So, verse 17. Yasya na aham kritah bhavaha buddhihi yasya na lipyate hatvapi sa iman lokan na hanti na nibadyate. One who can remember that divinity is the real doer, I am not the real doer. For that person, the actions do not stick to his soul. Karm bandhan, the bondages are not really evolving because that person has already killed, cut off all the bondages, all the attachments. So, yasya na aham krita. Not I am not the doer, bhava. Buddhi, yes, it is. So that mind, so intellect will not get stuck, will not get attached. Hatvapi, so even if you kill them, even the action of killing will not be harmful for that person's spiritual journey. Na hanti na nibadyate. Nor the killings and not even any bondages. It will not lead to any new bondages. Verse 18. Jnanam gyeyam parigyata trividha karma chodana karanam karma karteti trividha karma sangraha. These are the three inspiration for action. Jnanam, knowledge, gyeyam, to be known, and parigyata, the knower. And what are the action constituents? Karanam, karma, kartit, the instrument, the act, and the agent. Verse 19. Jnanam karma cha karta cha tridha eva guna bhedatah prochate guna sankhyaane yathavat shunu tanya api. Listen to me. What I'm going to tell you now is already mentioned by Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya Yoga, one of the most influential philosophy, which gave us the Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic, those three divisions of the entire universe for our food, for music, for everything. So those three are now coming back, and Bhagavan Krishna is explaining in the verse 20th. Sarva bhuteshu yen ekam bhavam avyayam ikshate avibhaktam vibhakteshu tad jnanam viddhi sattvikam. What is the sattvic knowledge? When you can see one divinity residing in all seemingly detached, disparate, disjoint beings are all joined by one spiritual being, that is Brahman, that is sattvic knowledge. Verse 21st. But what is Rajasic knowledge now? Pratyaktvena tu yat jnanam nana bhavan pratak vidhan vetti sarveshu bhuteshu tad jnanam viddhi rajasam. What is rajasam? If you see them all divided, you have the Rajasic perspective. But that knowledge which sees in all beings separate entities of various kinds but differentiation, know that knowledge to be Rajasic. And then next time we'll see the Tamasic. Verse 22nd. Yattu kritsnavat ekasmin karye saktam ahaitukam atattvartham vada alpam cha tat tamasam udhayatam. So Bhagavan Krishna already explained sattvic and rajasic actions, karma. Now tamasic karma. Which are the tamasic? Very narrow-minded and negative. Yattu kritsnavad ekasmin. Extremely focused on one single thing in a negative way. Very limited. Karye saktam. Very attached to actions. And ahaitukam. Without any proper planning or without any concern for the consequence for spiritual development. Atattvarthvad alpamcha. Very narrow-mindedly focused and insignificantly focused on small things. Tat tamasam udayatam. All these are tamasic karma examples. Niyatam, now back to sattvic. Niyatam, discipline. Sangarahitam, without attachment. Arag dveshataha, without desire. Arag dveshataha kritam, without action that are done without rag or dvesh, no desire or hatred. Aphal prepsuna karma, without desire for consequence or fruits of action. Yat tat sattvikam uchyate. These are all sattvic actions. Aphal prepsuna. Prepsu means desire for obtaining something. Any word that ends with su or shu are all called as desiderative in English, but these are all Hindi, Sanskrit, Gujarati, Marathi, Indian languages words. Any word that is jigyasu, for example, desire for knowing something. Pipasu, desire for drinking something, thirsty, right? Or vijigishu, desire for victory. Jijivishu, desire for living. Prepsu here, aphal prepsu, not desire for any fruits of one's action, are all sattvic. 24th. Yet now opposite of sattvic is rajasic. Yat tu kamepsu na karma. Kamepsu, desire for fruits of the action. Yat tu kamepsu na karma. Action done with desire. Sa ahankarena vapuna. And plus, on top of that, done with lot of ego and attachment. Ahankar, I am the doer. Ahankar. Kriyate bahulayasam, without and performed with lot of negative kind of effort. Tat rajasam udayatam. These are all rajasic action examples. Verse 25th. Now back to tamasic. Anubandham kshayam hinsam. So done with lot of injury, violence to others, with lot of losses and negatively attached to consequences. Anapekshya, cha paurusham, disregarding one's own strength without regard to that, and mohad, with done with illusion, arabhyate, karma. So action done with all these illusions and violence, and without really regarding one's own strength, are all examples of tamasic. 26th now, back to sattvic. Mukta sangaha, anahamvadi, right? So no attachment, no ego, ahamvadi. So you're not egotism, talking about oneself. So egoism and egotism are different. Egoism simply ahankar or pride, false pride. Egotism is talking about oneself. So here it's not ahankari but ahamvadi. So egotism. So without attachment, without egotism, dhityu, with lot of steadfastness. Sahasam, courage, resolution, accompanied by resolution and steadfastness. Siddhi asiddhyoho nirvikaraha. That person is not affected by success or failure. Siddhi asiddhyoho nirvikaraha. It means without vikar, without any negative, unperturbed nirvikar. Karta sattvic uchyate. These are all examples of person who is very sattvic. 27th. Ragi. Now back to Rajasic again. Ragi, lot of attachment. Karma phal prepsuhu, with desire. Same word prepsu here again, designative. So desire for obtaining the fruits of action. Karma phal prepsu. Lubdho, a greedy person. Hinsatmak, violent. Lubdha, hinsatmakaha. Ashuchihi, impure, dishonest. Harsh shokanvitaha, and perturbed by happiness and sorrow. Harsh and shok. Harsh shokanvitaha karta. So doer, which is who has all these negative qualities, are all rajasic. Rajasaha parikirtitaha. They are well known as proclaimed to be rajasic doers, karta. Now back to tamasic. Ayuktaha, not disciplined, not like a yogi. So ayukta would be undisciplined. Prakritaha, like almost wild, no proper grooming of that person has been done. Stabdha, very obstinate. Shatha, wicked. Shate shatyam, there is a saying in Sanskrit. Answer wicked with wickedness, something like that, right? To deal with one's enemies in a different context. But here, Shatha naikritikaha, deceitful. Shatha is wicked. Alasaha, alasya word we know very well. So alasa is lazy. Vishadi, despondent. Arjun Vishadi Yoga, the first chapter itself is Vishad. So here Vishad word comes by here. Vishadi, extremely despondent. Dirgha sutri, delay, causing delay always, procrastinating, always slow and lazy, are all tamasic examples. Karta, tamasa, uchyate. These are the examples of tamasic qualities. Verse 29th. Buddhehe bhedam dhृतेः cha eva gunatah trividham shunu. Listen to me. Prochyamanam asheshena prithaktvena dharanjaya. So Bhagavan Krishna is now going to explain three kinds of intellect and three kinds of steadfastness. Verse 29th, chapter 18th. So, buddhehe bhedam dhृतेः cha eva. Three kinds of buddhi, intellect. Bhed means kinds or types. Buddhehe bhedam dhृतेः cha eva, of also of steadfastness. Gunatah trividham. Shunu, listen to me. Three kinds of qualities in both intellect and in steadfastness. Prochyamanam, as declared by me. Asheshena, completely, without any. I will not hold me back. I'll explain everything in detail. Prithaktvena, separately I'll explain. O Dhananjay, intellect and steadfastness of three types. Verse 30. Yeah. Pravattim cha nivrittim cha karya akarye bhaya abhaye bandham moksham cha ya vetti buddhi sa parth sattviki. What is the sattvic buddhi? Sattvic intellect is what? That knows the difference between, discrimination between pravrittim, where to be active, cha nivrittim, where to not be active. Activity and inactivity, distinction, sattvic intellect knows very well. Karya, akarya, to be done or not to be done. Bhaya, abhaye, from someone or something to fear from or not to fear from. Bandham, moksham, what will cause me more bondages? What will liberate me? This distinction, this discrimination, a sattvic intellect knows very well. Pravritti versus nivritti, karya versus akarya, bandha versus moksha, bhaya versus abhay. All right, then verse 31st. Now, yaya dharmam adharmam cha, karyam cha akaryam cha, eva cha, ayathavat prajanati, buddhi sa partha rajasi. The rajasic buddhi, the passionate intellect, is one which distinguishes incorrectly. Yaya dharmam adharmam cha, karyam cha akaryam eva cha, ayathavat, which makes erroneously, mistakenly, that person confuses dharma from adharma, karya from akarya, that one would be Rajasic. The intellect which distinguishes incorrectly between the right and the wrong, and between which is to be done and that which is not to be done, is Rajasic. So dharma dharma here is not spirituality or ethics, but simply that which is ethical or unethical, right or wrong. If you can't distinguish, then that's an intellect which is Rajasic. Alright, now verse 32nd. Adharmam dharmam iti ya manyate tamasa vritaha. So tamasa, you can imagine it's tamasic now. Adharmam dharmam iti ya manyate tamasa vritaha sarvarthanam vipiritanscha buddhi sa parth tamasi. That buddhi is tamasic, lazy and dark and negative and so on. Which intellect? Which again, that intellect which enveloped in darkness. Manyate tamasa vritaha, avritaha, completely covered with darkness. Tamasic qualities have completely covered that intellect and imagines wrong to be right. Adharmam dharmam itiya manyate, confused between adharm and dharma, and all things will be perverted. Sarvarthan vipritansha, all meanings are completely confused. That person is completely confused, so can't distinguish and can't really focus on the real purpose and gets confused completely. All things are to be perverted for that person. 33rd now. 33rd verse. Dhritya yaya dharayate. Again back to Satviki. You can imagine from the first word itself. Dhritya, again steadfastness, firmness. Dhritya yaya dharayate. Manaha pran indriya kriyaha. Everything is completely in control. Yogena avyabhicharinya. Dhriti sa parth satviki. That steadfastness which can completely discipline one's mind, breath, and sense objects, sense functions, and by unswerving yoga, that firmness, O Arjuna, is sattvic. The unswerving firmness by which through yoga one holds fast the functions of the mind, vital breath, and senses. That firmness, Arjuna, is sattvic. 34th verse. Yayatu dharma kamarthan. Rajasic, again, kamarthan. As soon as you see this word kamarthan, very attached to the fruits of the action. So, Rajasic. Yayatu dharma kamarthan. What will I gain from doing whatever I am doing? Dhritya dharate Arjun. Prasangena phalankankshi. The person is always desiring of fruits. Dhriti sa parth rajasi. But the firmness by which one holds to duty, pleasure, or wealth with attachment and desire for the fruits of action, that firmness, Arjuna, is Rajasic. Yayatu dharma kamarthan. Dhritya dharate Arjuna. So dharma is duty, kam is desire, arth is wealth. All of that is steadfastly, in a very attached manner. That person is attached and desiring of all these things. Dharma, kam, and arth. Dharma, arth, kam, moksha. As you know, 4 purusharthas. All are done with lot of attachment. Then that person is Rajasic. And verse 35th. So here it goes. Yaya swapnam bhayam shokam vishadam madam evacha na vihunchati durmedha. Dhriti sa partha tamasi. Tamasi person is one. Durmedha is like again negative, dull-witted, negatively witted, negative intellect. Na vimunchati. He never abandons. That person never abandons. What? Swapnam. Bhayam. That person cannot abandon swapnam or kind of illusion. Bhayam, fear. Shokam, grief. Vishadam, depression. And madam, again conceit or kind of false arrogance, negative arrogance. Dhriti. So that steadfastness is tamasig, according to verse 35th by Bhagavan Krishna. Next, chapter 18, Bhagavad Gita. Sukham tva idanim trividham shunu me bhartar shabha abhyasat ramate yatra tu khantam cha digachati. Shunu me is very commonly used by Bhagavan Krishna in entire Bhagavad Gita. Shunu, suno, mujhe suno, in Hindi we say, or Gujarati sambro bane, or listen to me. Shunu, listen to me, is Agyarthak, Lotlakar. Bhartar Shabha, O bull of the Bharatas, the bull among the Bharatas. Rishabha is for the first Jayanti Tirthankara. Like Rishabha, this is Bhartar Shabha, bull of the Bharatas, bull among the Bharatas, bull among the descendants of the mythical king Bharat, Bharat the son of Dushyant and Shakutla. That Bharat is the primordial, the great patriarch of the entire clans of Mahabharata, of the Mahabharata, both Kauravas and Pandavas, all derive from Bharat. So Bharatar Shabha, Shunu me, listen to me, Bhagavan Krishna. I say, Sukham tu idanim trividham. Sukham, pleasure, is of 3 kinds. Tu is very commonly used. Tu can be used for to in Hindi, Gujarati, Marathi, many Indian languages, or then, or simply but. But happiness is now threefold. Sukham tu idanim, now trividam, threefold. Abhyasat, from practice. Ramate yatra, one who enjoys this from practice. Practice of dukhantam cha nigachati, suffering end of suffering. Dukhantam, sukhantam, Vedantam. Vedant is end of Vedas. Sukhantam, end of Sukh. Dukhantam, end of Dukh, and so on, right? So, dukhantam cha nigachati, and end of suffering one comes to. And pleasure is of three kinds, abhyasat, and you get that pleasure by that happiness, not pleasure, sorry. Happiness, you get that by, you can even translate for pleasure. Sukham can be used in different contexts. Sukham can have different meanings. So, anand or sukham. Anand is superior, anand is bliss. Sukh can be happiness or pleasure. So, yeah, so 36th verse is saying that you can get this three kinds of happiness from practice, and that leads to end of suffering, dukhant. 37th verse. Yat tat agre visham iva pariname amritaha upamam. Not upamama. You can't say upamama because there is a halant at the end of the second ma. So you have to say amritaha or amrita upamam. Upamam. That's it. Upamama. You can't say that. Would be wrong. Pariname amrita upamam tat sukham satvikam prauktam or proktam atma buddhi prasadajam. Excellent lines. Yat tat, where, agre, front, visham iv. Visham is very interesting word. Visham, I took it first as sum and visham. I'm a Hindi medium student. So when I learned about even and odd numbers back in Rajasthan, when I was growing up at 6th, 7th, 8th standard, we used to learn sum and visham sankhyain. Sum and visham is what I took it, but visham here is not odd numbers. Sum is even numbers, visham is odd numbers. Visham simply here is poison. Vish is poison, as you know very well. Vish is poison. So visham is, I was wondering if vitriolic or other vicious words in English may be cognate, may have same cognate. Visham and vicious, right? You have, all those English words. Anyway, so yat tat agre visham iva pariname amruto. From the beginning, in the front, they may sound as if poison, but pariname, in the end, in the consequence, they are like nectar. Tat sukham satvikam proto. That happiness is sattvic, which may appear as like a poison in the beginning, but it emerges as nectar in the end. That's a sattvic sukh. And that you get only by atma buddhi prasadajam, by your own personal, your own individual intelligence, your own tranquility, you derive that kind of happiness. What an excellent definition. Now the opposite, verse 38th. Vishayendriya sanyogat yat tat agre amrita upamam pariname visham iva tat sukham rajasam smritam. Smritam is an interesting word again. Smritam could be remembered. Smritam could be recorded. Smritis are our Purans, and our Ramayana and Mahabharata are all Smritis. They are recorded based on the memory of our rishis, Valmiki and so on, right? Mahavyas and so on. So, tat sukham rajasam smritam. Which happiness is recorded as rajasic? Here is the definition. Vishayendriya sanyoga, the happiness that derives by the union of the Vishayas and the Indriyas, the sense object and sense contact, right? Sweet drink, let's say, and the tongue that touches the sweet drink, right? So the sense object and sensory organ, when they come in contact, that gives us some happiness. But that is a happiness, yattat agre amrita upamam. It seems very happy, very tasty, even like nectar. But the parinam, the consequence is poison. As we all know now, sugar sounds sweet, tastes very sweet in the beginning, but the poison it creates in our body is extremely harmful. So that's a Rajasic Sukham. Exactly opposite, Sattvic Sukh. In the beginning, it is like maybe like poison. In the end, it is like nectar. Rajasic Sukh, in the beginning, it's like nectar, but in the end, consequence is like poison. Verse 39. Yat agre chanubandhecha sukham mohanam atmanaha nidra alasya pramad uttham tat tamasam udayatam. That is tamasic. Which one is tamasic? In the beginning itself, in the end also, it is always delusion leading to delusion, and it is always derived from nidra, that is sleep, alasam, that is indolence or laziness, or pramad, negligence. So it arises from all those negative inertia, very lazy kind of qualities which is always in division, in whether in the beginning or in the end, it is always full of delusion and so on. So tamasic is that. Now verse 40. Na tat asti prithvyam va divi deveshu va punah sattvam prakriti jaihi muktam yat ebhi syat tribhi gunaihi. Nobody on this planet, on this earth, Prithvi, as we know very well, or the gods in the heavens, deveshu, gods, plural, divi in the heaven, singular, vapuna, neither on the earth nor in the heaven, nobody can be free from these three qualities. Which three qualities? Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic. So you see the influence of Sankhya Yoga so heavy on the Bhagavad Gita also. Excellent way to categorize the world, the qualities, the food, the music. The entire universe is categorized in these three major grouping taxonomy of qualities, of attributes. So everybody is born with these, one of these three qualities, which is dominant in one's personality. So now 41st verse. Now comes the most debatable topic, the Varna Vyavastha. So Bhagavan Krishna is now saying, Brahmana Kshatriya Visham Shudranam cha Parantapa Karmani Pravibhaktani Swabhava Prabhavaihi Gunaihi. All these Varnas are born out of their own attributes and qualities. The Brahmins or Brahmins, Brahmin in English, are born based on their own unique qualities. Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras also. So by their actions, by their qualities, they are divided, categorized in 4 different Varnas. Swabhava Prabhavaihi Gunaihi. So the duties of the Brahmins, the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, and of the Shudras, O Arjuna, are distributed according to the qualities which arise from their own nature. Swabhava Prabhavaihi, born or arising. Right? Swabhava, their nature derives from their quality, basically. Swabhava Prabhavaihi Gunaihi. By the qualities, by their attributes, their nature arises. And the 42nd verse. Shamaha. Now, extremely, you can take it as, even really great definition of an ideal Brahmin. Ideal Brahman, how he or she should be. Shamaha, tranquility. Damas or Damaha, restrained, self-control. Tapaha, austerity. Shaucham, purity. Kshanti, patience. Arjavam, uprightness, simplicity, that is no honesty or innocence, arjam, simplicity, uprightness. Jnanam, knowledge. Vijnanam, discrimination. Astikyam, religious faith. That person is always faithful towards the deities and towards Vedas and so on. Brahma karma swabhavajam. That is the ideal definition of Brahman. Brahma karma, Brahman action, swabhavajam, innate nature. So that person's nature derives from that person's actions, qualities. These are the qualities. So tranquility, restraint, austerity, purity, patience, uprightness, knowledge, discrimination, and religious faith. What an excellent definition of Brahmins. I know many Brahmins who do have these qualities, even in this extremely negative and arrogant and negative kind of time that we are living in. I have many such friends, and I'm grateful that they are preserving these great qualities even today, even with all kinds of negativity all around them and all around us. People do have these qualities, thankfully, that I know personally. Thank you. Verse 43rd now. Shaurya tejah dhritihi dakshyam yuddhe cha api apalayanam danam ishwar bhavah cha kshatram karma swabhavajam. What are the qualities of Kshatriyas now? Shauryam, courage, heroism. Tejah, majesty. Dhritihi, firmness. Dakshyam, skill. Dakshyam yuddhe, skill in battlefield. Cha api apalayanam, never turning their back against the enemy, never running away, never escaping. Danam, generosity. Ishwar bhavaha, spiritual nature, lordly spirit or divine spirit or religious spirit. Spiritual nature, I would say. Kshatram karma swabhavajam. These are the actions of Kshatriyas that are born out of their own innate nature. Excellent qualities of Kshatriyas. 44th verse. Krishi, Gau Rakshya, Vanijyam, Vaishya Karmam, Swabhavajam. These are the innate qualities of Vaishyas, and that is, these are the actions, these are the professions or careers that Vaishyas take. Krishi, agriculture; Gauraksha, that is cow herding; and Vanijyam, trade. Very commonly we see even today in many of the people of that community are still doing these things. Then Paricharyatmakam karma, Shudrasyapi Swabhavajam. And those who are born with innate qualities to serve others, help others, they end up doing service type actions. So we should put doctors, plumbers, electricians, not just janitors, cooks, chefs, right? And even engineers that are working for others. The one who are not entrepreneurs and serve others are all Shudras, engineers, doctors, plumbers, cooks and chefs and drivers, everyone, not just janitors. So we have this stereotype that Shudras are only janitors. That's not true. All the people that are in service business, service class professions are all technically Shudras. They are all doing service type. They are not doing Krishi. All who are not doing Krishi, agriculture, cow herding, trade, or they are not in military, or they are not doing spiritual or teaching work, are all Shudras in all societies in the world, not just India. These are universal archetypes or universal definitions of four kinds of human beings on the entire planet. Those who are Brahmins, the qualities were mentioned in previous verse. Kshatriyas, we just saw. Vaishyas, we just saw. And Shudras, now we saw. So I think 90% or maybe probably 95% of people across the world are all Shudras because they're all doing service type actions, right? They're all working for others. They're not entrepreneurs, right? We all work for others. So we are all Shudras by profession, by our careers. All right, by now 45th verse. Now the gist, the punchlines, more powerful punchlines. This is the last chapter, so you can just imagine the emphasis and the energy and enthusiasm Bhagwan Krishna must be displaying to as he is telling these great gist of the entire Bhagavad Gita. Sve sve karmani abhiratah sansiddhim labhate narah swakarma niratah siddhim yatha vindati tat shrunu. Shrunu, listen to me. Listen to me what? Sway, one's own karmani abhirata. By doing your own work, repetitive work, but doing your own work, sansiddhim labhate naraha. Human being can obtain the success, the accomplishment, perfection. Swakarma nirata siddhim. By perfection is obtained by contentment in one's own action, one's own work. Yatha vindati tatsashu. Now that is how one finds that accomplishment. Listen to me now more in detail. Verse 46. Yata. So one of the most popular verses of the entire Bhagavad Gita. Yata pravatti bhutanam yen sarvam idam tatam swakarmana tam abhyarcham. Abhyarcham, yes, I said it first correctly. Abhyarcham. Siddhim vindati manavaha. Human being. Siddhim vindati finds. Siddhim, accomplishment, success, perfection. How? Yata pravritti, by the origin of beings, by worshipping with his own proper duty, him from whom all beings have their origin, him by whom all the universe is pervaded. That is how one finds perfection. Yata pravritti bhutanam yen sarvam idam tatam. Yeah, it's like referring to Brahman. Swakarmana, by one's own action, offer it as offering, as a spiritual offering. Perform your actions as if you're offering to that supreme being. That is how one finds perfection. 47th verse, excellent, also very extremely popular. Shreyan swadharmaha vigunaha. Shreyan swadharmaha vigunaha pardharmat su anutishtatat swabhavaniyatam karma kurvan na apnoti kilbisham. Shreyan, better, swadharma, my own nature, my own duty, viguna, even though it might be imperfect. Pardharmat, better than somebody else's duty. Even if I do somebody else's duty with more perfection, doing one's own duty, even if it's imperfect, is better than doing somebody else's duty. Even though that might be better, even though I might do that better. So, swabhavaniyatam karma, one's action must be built upon the foundation of one's own innate nature. Now we hear all this, everybody is talking about find your own passion by your own innate qualities. That is what is being referred here. Your own innate qualities should reflect in your actions, in your career, in your profession, in your life. Kurvan na apnuti kilbisham. By doing that, you will not incur any guilt, any sin, any negativity if you stick to your own nature, your own dharma. Verse 48. Sahajam karma kaunteya sadosham api na tyajet sarvarambha hi doshena Dhumena agnihi iva vritaha. One should not abandon the duty to which one is born. Sahajam karma kaunteya, Arjuna. Kaunteya, born of Kunti. So Sahajam karma, that is born out of your own nature, almost. So he's referring to your mother. So just as our karma derived from our own nature, you are derived from Kunti. So he's using that interesting epithet for Arjuna here. So sadosham apinat, even if it might have some deficiency, do not abandon your own nature-based actions. Always stick to that. Even though there might be some smoke, but don't go away from fire, something like that. Dhumen agni ivavrita, as if indeed all undertakings are enveloped by evil as fire is by smoke. So don't worry about that. Just stick to your own inborn nature. And verse 49. Asakta buddhi sarvatra jitatma vigata spriha naishkarmya siddhim paramam sannyasena adhigacchati. Asakta buddhi. How do you get the supreme state of freedom from action? Again, sort of punchline of the entire Bhagavad Gita. How do you perform actions? Asakta buddhi, detached intellect, sarvatra, everywhere, jitatma, conquered self, self-controlled self, once you can control your own self, vigata spirit, you renounce all your desires, nashkarmya siddhi, actionless perfection supreme. So that action will be actionless because your ego is not attached to your work. Sannyasena adhigacchati, and that is the real renunciation, by detachment to the fruits of action. So, with the intellect and unattached at all times, with conquered self, free from desire, by renunciation, one attains the supreme state of freedom from action. Verse 50th, 50, chapter 18th. Siddhim praptah yatha brahma tatha apnoti nibodhame समासेन एव कौन्तेय निष्ठा ज्ञानस्य या परा. Nibodh me samasena kaunteya. O Arjuna, O son of Kunti, kaunteya. Samasena. Samas is shortening of several phrases into one word. Samasena is briefly. Samasena, briefly. Nibodh me, learn from me. What do you want to learn from me? Learn from me briefly, O Arjuna, how one who has attained perfection, siddhim praptah yatha brahma, also attains Brahma. Siddhim praptah, having attained the accomplishment, yatha brahma tatha apnoti. How that person can attain Brahman also, because those are pretty much synonymous. Siddhi is becoming Brahman. Ultimately, that's the highest Siddhi. So, Bhagavan Krishna is now going to explain to Arjuna how one attains Brahman, having attained the highest accomplishment, Siddhi. Nishtha jnanasya yapara. That is the highest state of knowledge. Nishtha here does not mean faith, apparently. Nishtha means the highest state. The root is tha, the state which connects with state or condition or situation, or simply staying. So Nishtha is the highest state. Nishtha jnanasya yapara. A state beyond the highest knowledge, which is the highest state of knowledge. Yes. All right. Verse 51st. 5.1. Buddhaya vishuddhaya yuktaha dhrityatmanam niyamya cha shabdadin vishayansa tyaktva ragadveshau vyudasya cha. Read with me. Open a copy. You can find any PDF online and just read these beautiful Sanskrit words. Nowhere else in any language such purity of pronunciation is preserved as in Sanskrit. As you can see, buddhaya, by intellect or with intelligence. Vishuddhaya, so those are adjective and noun. So vishuddhaya buddhaya, pure intelligence. Yuktaha, yoked, united. Dhrityatmanam, firm self-controlling. Atmanam, you know, Atmakatha biography. So Atmanam, Dhrityatma, Dhrityatmanam, with firmness and self-controlling. Dhritya is firmness and self-control. Atmanam niyamyacha. Niyam is to control, regulation. So niyamyacha. So with firmness, self-controlling. Shabdadin, we say in Hindi or other Indian languages, A, B, C, D, etc., etc. Adi, ityadi. So that's the same Adi here. Shabd Adin. Shabd refers to all sense objects, especially the sounds, but also sights, tastes, touch, and so on. That person renounces everything, basically, the ideas. Shabdadin Vishayans, Vishaya, you know very well, sense objects, Tyaktva, having abandoned. Ragadveshau Vyudasya. Ragadvesha, you know very well, Rag and Dvesh, right? Passion and hatred. Vyudasya is a new word, having casted off. So just abandons everything. So what Bhagavan Krishna is saying is that endowed with a pure intellect, buddhaya, vishuddhaya, yukta, endowed with pure intelligence, extremely pure, perfectly pure intelligence, controlling the self with firmness, dhrityatmanam niyamyacha, self-control, and atmas, self-control, controlling the self with great discipline. Shabdadin Vishayan Tyaktva, abandoning sound and the other objects of sense. Raga Dvesho Vyudasya, casting off attraction and hatred. Rag and Dvesh. Attraction is not the perfect translation, but all kinds of desires and passions and hatred that person abandons. 52nd verse. Vivikta Sevi Laghvashi, Laghu Ashi, that is Laghvashi, Yata Vak Kaya Manasah, Dhyana Yoga Parahalityam, Vairagyam Samupashritaha. So that person, Samupashritaha, takes shelter in Vairagi, in renunciation. Vivikta Sevi, Vivikta, very interesting word, new word for me also, solitary. Vivikt is solitary. So basically, Vibhajan, Vivikt has the same root to be separate from everybody else. Vibhajan also separation. India, Pakistan, Vibhajan, separation. Vivakta Sevi. So that person dwells in this Vivakta stage, which is a separate state from all the other people or things in the world. Basically, renunciation, solitary, and living above. Vivikta Sevi, Lagavashi, eats very little, consumes very little. Not just food, but everything else. That person's consumption becomes extremely low. Carbon footprint becomes extremely low. Yat Vak Kaya Manasaha. And that great control. Dhyana Yoga Paraha Nityam. The person controls Vak, speech, Kaya, body, physical actions, Manasaha, mind, and Dhyan, always fixes the mind on meditation, Dhyan. Yoga and meditation go together. Paraha Nityam, and devoted Paraha Nityam Vairagi Samupasha. And that person dwells in renunciation forever. So dwelling in solitude, eating lightly, controlling speech, body and mind, constantly devoted to yoga, meditation, taking refuge in dispassion or renunciation. 53rd verse. Ankaram balam darpam kamam krodham parigraham vimuchya nirmamaha shantaha brahma bhuyaya kalpate. That person becomes Brahman, Brahma bhuyaya, becomes one with Brahman or becomes Brahman. Kalpate. Kalpate is fit, is become eligible to become Brahman. How? Ahankaram balam darpam, having abandoned egoism, force, arrogance. Darp is arrogance, bal is force, as you know. Ahankar is egoism, as you know very well. All Indian languages have it. Kamam, desires. Krodham, anger. Parigraham, accumulation, possession. Opposite is aparigraha. In Jainism, one of the most important value that Jainism teaches is aparigraha, also in Hinduism, Buddhism. So parigraha is opposite of aparigraha, so possession and accumulation. So that person abandons all these negative qualities. Ahankar, bala, darpa, kama, krodha, parigraha. Vimuchya, having abandoned. Nirmamaha, unequivocal and equally balanced towards all people. Shantaha, tranquil. Brahma bhuyaya kalpate. That person becomes eligible for oneness with Brahma or becoming Brahma. 54th verse. Brahma bhutaha prasannatma na shochati na kankshati samaha sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labhate param. And he attains my ultimate devotion to me, supreme devotion he attains. How? By becoming absorbed in Brahma, by becoming one with Brahma. Brahma bhutaha prasannatma, becomes contented, self-pleased in serene self. Na shochati, never mourns. Na kankshati, never desired nor desires. Samha sarveshu bhuteshu, impartial among all beings. Mad bhaktim lavate param, he attains supreme devotion towards me. And 55th verse. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yah cha asmi tatvatah tatah mam tatvatah gyatva vishate tadanantaram. Enters, vishate is enter, pavesh is enter, same vishate. He enters me tadanantaram. He immediately enters me. How? Bhaktya mam abhijanati, by knowing me, by the supreme devotion. Yavan, how great, yacha asmi tattvata. Tattvata, tattva is reality, ultimate reality. Ultimate reality of me is how great that person realizes. Tatah mam tattvata gyatva. Having known me by realizing the ultimate reality, that person enters me immediately. By devotion to me, he comes to know who I am in truth, in reality. Then having known me in truth, he enters me immediately. He becomes one with me, basically. And 56th verse. Sarva karmani api sada kurvano mad vyapashrayah mat prasadat avapnoti shashvatam padam avyayam. Sarva karmani api sada. Performing all actions are not abandoned. Kurvano mad vyapashrayah. He whose reliance is always on me. Ashraya, dependence of the person is always only on me. Mat prasadat, and by my grace, prasadat, my grace, mat prasadat avapnuti, he attains, that person attains what? Shashvatam padam avyam, that eternal, imperishable abode he attains, that person attains, while continuing to perform all actions. Remember, Bhagavan Krishna is inspiring Arjuna to perform his actions, but with strong detachment and strong devotion towards the highest reality, that is Brahman. Verse 57th now. Chetasa sarva karmani mai sanyasya mat paraha buddhi yogam upashritya mat chitta satatam bhava. Chetasa sarva karmani mai sanyasya mat paraha. Renounce everything by your all actions, intellectually, by mind, come to me, mentally renounce everything, all actions in me, devoted to me as supreme. Mai sanyasya mat paraha. Become attached to me, become devoted to me. Buddhi yogam upashritya. Make your intellect into a yoga, intellectual yoga, not just physical yoga. Buddhi yogam, intellectual yoga, yoga of buddhi. Connect your buddhi to me, basically, upashritya, and become dependent only on that intellect. Mat chitta satatam bhava. Many times in so-called pop Sanskrit, people say bhavaha, so wrong, completely wrong. Amitabh Bachchan in KBC sometimes say Kalyanam Bhavaha. There is no word in Sanskrit that has Bhavaha. Bhava with Visarg is a big mistake. Bhavaha never has a Visarg, it's only Bhava, not Bhavaha. So I hope Mr. Bachchan sir, you will take note of it. Sorry. All right. Matchittaha satatam bhava. Become attached to me intellectually by your mind, by your soul. So mentally renouncing all actions in me, devoted to me as a supreme, taking refuge in the yoga of discrimination, constantly think of me. He is trying to inspire Arjun to fight, to do his duty, but as a devotion, not with his ego, basically. So 58th verse now, chapter 18. Mat chittaha sarva durgani, mat prasadat tarishyasi, terna or crossover, mat prasadat, from my grace, from my prasad. Asachet tvam ahankaran na shoshyasi vinangshasi. If you have your ego in between, yat chet, if at all, yat chet tvam, you, ahankaran, with your ego, with your silly pride, na shoshyasi, if you don't listen to me, shoshyasi, shravan and shoshyasi from listening. If you don't listen, future tense, if you will not listen to me, vinakshasi, you will perish, you will finish, you will get finished. Mat chitta sabdur. If you think of me, you will cross over all difficult. Durg is basically literal meaning. Literally, Durg simply means Durg. Usually, we use it for castle or fort or citadel, right? Durg simply means that which is difficult to go. Ga means to go. Gama is to go. Adama is to come, right? So, Durga, if you add prefix, upsarg to any verb becomes difficult, right? So, Durga. So, anything that somebody can enter only with difficulty is a Durga. So, mat chittaha, with my mind to me, sarva durgani, all kinds of difficulties, you will mat prasada tarishas, you will cross over, you will transcend all difficulties. But if you bring in your silly ego in between, you will perish. Fixing your mind on me, you shall pass over all difficulty through my grace. But if through egoism you will not listen, then you will perish. Egoism and egotism are two different words. So translator here is using the right word. Egoism. Egotism is simply one who talks a lot about himself. That's egotism. Egoism, we all know, is false pride. All right, 59th verse. Yat ahankaram ashritya. Again, he's attacking his ego. Yat ahankaram ashritya na yotsya itik manyase. If you will not fight, having with this silly idea that I will not mind, if you think that with your silly ego, false pride, mithyaisha vyavasayaste prakritim toham niyokshati. Your own nature will compel you to fight. You don't know your own nature, oh silly Arjun, or such a fool you are, basically, in other words, if you say it crudely. So Krishna is making Arjuna realize his own foolishness and his own silly ego, false pride. So if filled with egoism, you think I shall not fight, your resolve will be in vain. Mithyaisha vyavasayahata. That will be a false resolve. So don't do all those silly mistakes. Prakritim tvam, your own nature will make you fight. Don't even try to go against your nature, basically. Chapter 18, verse 60th. Swabhava jena Kaunteya, son of Kunti. Nivatha svena karmana, you're bound by your own duties. Kartum na ichasi yan mohat, but with some silly delusion, you are not willing to do your duty now. Karishyasi avashaha, that like a machine, almost like a zombie, you will be forced to act because your own nature will compel you to fight, basically. Right? What you wish not to do through delusion, you shall do that against your will, Arjuna, be bound by your own karma, born of your own material nature. Verse 61st. Ishvaraha Sarvabhutana. Amazing, amazing verse. Now, superb. Years ago, decades ago, I used to listen to Ravindra Satya's Bhagavad Gita as he rendered in music for an album that was made by India Today, Music Today album, Bhagavad Gita. So he sang it amazingly, and great music by Vanraj Bhatia. I think he passed away. Now, excellent. He gave music to some films as well. Anyway, so Ishvaraha Sarvabhutana. Riddeshe Arjuna Tishtati. God, basically, divinity is in all beings, resides in the hearts of everybody. Brahmayan Sarva Bhutani, and we move around. Brahmar is a word for bumblebee, Bhamara. So Brahmayan, that one which moves around all the time is Brahmar. Here, Brahmayan, all of us are also like bumblebees, always moving around. Yantra Rudhani Maya, but we move around as if machines, like the word I use, zombie, a little bit in the previous verse. Here it's machine, mechanically. Yantra Rudhani, as if we are bound by like a machine. And with this delusion, Maya, with that illusion, power of illusion, we also move around. But because the power is inside us, the Lord abides in the hearts of all beings, Arjuna, causing all beings to revolve like a bumblebee. I'm adding that bumblebee masala a little bit here. But all beings to revolve by the power of illusion as if fixed on a machine. Yantra Rudhani. What a word Bhagavan Krishna is using. Yantra, we live it today in a yantric age, mechanical age. But millennia ago, Bhagavan Krishna is using this word yantra. It means there were yantras that time also. I don't know what kind of yantra we can think of at that time. I don't know, something to think about. Anyway, 62nd verse now, chapter 18. Tam eva sharanam gacha. Go to that refuge, in that refuge. Sarva bhavena bharata. O son of Bharata, O descendant of Bharata, with all your feelings and emotions, go to that ultimate refuge. Tat prasadat param shanti. With that ultimate grace, you will attain supreme peace. Sthanam prapsyasi Shashwatam. You will attain the ultimate abode, eternal abode, you will obtain only with the grace of that supreme being, basically referring to himself. Fly unto him alone for refuge. Tam eva sharanam gatcha. Go, simply go, not fly. I don't know why fly. Anyway, to go to him, go unto him alone for refuge with your whole being, sarva bhaven, with your whole being, with your whole entire personality. From his grace, tat prasadat, param shantim, you shall attain supreme peace and eternal abode. Shashwatam Sthanam. Beautiful, amazing words. Those who know Sanskrit always say is the greatest blessing from India, if one can say, in the Sanskrit language. Even if you may not have ever learned Sanskrit formally, just recite these verses. Your sound will improve. Your voice will improve. You will feel happier just by pronouncing these amazing, amazing words. Tat tameva sharanam gacha sarva bhavena bharata tat prasadat param shantim sthanam prapsasi shashwatam. Amazing. I want to sing, but I'm controlling myself. All right, 63rd verse. Itite jnanam akyatam. Amazing. Ravindra Satya's voice is echoing in my mind. Itite jnanam akyatam guhyat guhyataram maya. More secret than the highest secret. Itite jnanam. This is the highest knowledge that I'm expounding. Expounded knowledge, more secret than the highest secret. Guhyat guhyataram maya. Guyyatam, the most secret. Vimrashaitad asheshena. Vimarsh. Have your internal vimarsh without leaving any stone unturned. Asheshena. Do not leave anything in your mind, and go deep and analyze my words. Analyze this supreme knowledge, which is secret than highest secret. Then he says, look at this amazing psychological counseling. He's forcing him in, persuading him very fiercely, Bhagavan Krishna. But in the end, he says, Yatha ichchasi tatha kuru. Itite jnanam akhyatam guhyataram maya. By me, the knowledge has been expounded. Vimrashait asheshena. Do your internal analysis. Then, yatha ichchasi tatha kuru. Yatha ichchasi tatha kuru. Do as you please. Yatha ichchasi. Whatever you desire, second person singular, tatha kuru. Do that. So, final decision is still in your hand. And 64th verse. Sarva guhyatamam bhuyaha. Shrudu me paramam vachaha. Ishto asi. Ishtaha asi me. I'm trying to break the word. Ishtosi. So, it will become ishtaha asi. Me dridham iti tataha vakshami te hitam. Sarva guhyatamo. Most secret knowledge. Again, bhuyaha, again. Shunu me, listen to me. Me paramam vachaha. My supreme words. Hear of me the supreme word. Vachaha, yeah, singular. Ishtaha asi. You are my favorite. You are the most desired person that I have. Ishtaha asi. You are my beloved. Dridham iti. This is my, surely, you are the most, definitely, you are my most beloved person. Tatah vakshyami te hit. So I am going to speak what is hitkai, what is beneficial, what is for your welfare. I will speak that. Amazing words, amazing dialogue, amazing language, and amazing setting. Bhagwan Krishna and Arjuna, as you know. Verse 65th. Manmana bhavaman madbhaktah madhyaji mam namaskuru mam eva eshyasi satyante pratijane priyah asi me. Manmana bhava madbhaktah, me devoted, somebody who is devoted to me, completely worshipping me. Madhyaji mam namaskuru. And fix your mind, devote to me, become devoted to me, worship me, sacrifice to me, do all yatnas also to me, bow down to me. Mam ev eshyasi satyamte. You will come to me definitely. Pratijane priyo priya asima. And that you are my beloved, as I hinted in the previous verse. You are my ishta, you are my priya, you are my beloved. Fix your mind on me, worshipping me, sacrificing to me, bowing down to me. In this way you shall come truly to me. I promise, for you are dear to me because you are my Pratijane priya asi me. You are my beloved. 66th verse, one of the most popular verses of the Bhagavad Gita now. 66th verse, chapter 18th. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchah. I will liberate you from all your negative karmas, your papas or sins, if you, once you renounce all your whatever duties or whatever you had, just abandon them, renounce them. Sarva dharman parityajya, renounce them, abandon them. Mam ekam sharanam, just take refuge in me alone. Aham tva sarva, I will free you from all kinds of negative karmas. Mokshayishyami ma shucha, do not worry, do not feel, do not grieve. I will provide you the liberation. I shall cause to be released. 66th verse is over. 67th verse now. Idam te na atapaskaya. Idam te na atapaskaya. Amazing word, atapaskaya. Na abhaktaya kadachana. Na cha ashushrusha. Shushusha means seva. So na cha ashushrushrove. Really tongue twister. Na cha ashushrushrove vachyam. Na cha mam yo yah abhyasuyati. But those who are not doing proper tapasya, atapaskaya, those who are not doing austerities, na abhaktaya, those who are not devoted to me, those who are not doing proper service to me, na cha ashushusha, seva shushusha mean almost similar thing, service. Those who are not doing that. So for them, and those who speak evil of me, those who are speaking negatively of me, na cha mam ya abhyasuyate. Those are all getting devoid of this wisdom, of my grace, of my blessings. 68th verse. Na ya idam paramam guhyam. This supreme knowledge is not for them. Mad bhakteshu abhidhasyati. But those who are my devotees will attain this supreme knowledge. Bhakti mai param kritva. Having done their supreme devotion to me. Mam ev eshyati asanshayah. Without doubt they will come to me for sure, because they are devoted to me. He who shall teach the supreme. And those are my devotees who spread this wisdom among other people will be doing great service for themselves. He should tell he who shall teach the supreme secret to my worshippers, having performed the highest devotion to me, shall come to me without doubt. Naya idam paramam guhyam mad bhakteshu abhidhasyati. One who will take this message to my other devotees, bhakti mai paramkar, that will be the highest devotion done to me, and they will come to me without doubt. 69th verse. Nacha tasman manushyeshu kaschin me priya Kritam maha bhavita nacha me tasmad anyah priyatarah bhuvi. On this entire planet, on this entire earth, none is more beloved to me, none is more favorite to me than the one who spreads this knowledge among other people. Nacha tasman manushyeshu. Among the people, among the humans, Kashin me priya, nobody is more beloved to. Kashin me priya kritamaha bhavita nacha me tasmat. And will never become anybody who is more favorite to me than one who spreads this knowledge among other people. And no one among men shall do more pleasing service to me than no other on earth shall be dearer to me, one who spreads this wisdom among others. Adhyeshyate chayar imam dharmyam samvadam avayoho doer. Jnana yagyena tenaham ishtah syam iti me matihi. Whoever will study our dialogue, this samvad, this dialogue among us, Arjuna and Krishna, this is this jnana yagya, this amazing ritual of knowledge, amazing process of knowledge. Tenaham ishtah syam iti me mati. So with this wisdom, he will also be doing worship to me, again, by listening or reading or going through this dialogue between both of us. And he who shall study this sacred dialogue of ours By him I shall have been worshipped. I'll consider this as a worship to the reader or listener of this dialogue with the wisdom sacrifice. Such is my conviction. And I'll definitely say that will be the highest worship of a reader or a listener, whoever gets involved in this dialogue. 71st verse. Shraddhavan anasuyah cha Shrunyan api yo narah sah api muktah shubhan lokan prapnuya punya karmanam. That person with the faith, Shraddhavan, Anasuya, without any negative speech, Shruniyat, and by listening to this dialogue, will be delivered to the highest abode, will attain moksha. He'll transcend this abode, this earth, and go to most auspicious places, most auspicious abodes, and will attain that by that sacred action, sacred karma that person does by listening or reading this dialogue. Even the man who hears it with faith and free from malice, he also liberated shall attain the happy worlds of those whose actions are pure. April 23rd, 2023, we started this amazing journey to learn from the most sacred, most popular, most commented Indian text, that is the Bhagavad Gita, the song of the Lord or the divine song. It can be translated in many different ways depending on which samas you're using. The Bhagavad Gita journey we started. The commentaries that I had read in this journey were from Gita Rahasya by Lokmanya Tilak, right here in Pune, where I'm located right now. Commentaries that I had already also read long back were by Mahatma Gandhi, by Ramakrishna Mission, by Dadaji Pandurang Shastri Athavale of Swadhyaya Parivar, little bit of Chinmay Mission. Swami Chinmayanand also have heard little bit here and there. Osho, of course, I've heard the entire series on the Bhagavad Gita by Osho and many others, of course. And there are scholarly works also done on the Bhagavad Gita. Probably this remains the most popular text, sacred text coming from India all over the world. It's the most popular text. Also, Rabindranath Tagore's musical rendition given by Music Today decades ago, that also almost more than 3 decades ago, almost 3 decades ago. But in the journey that I undertook, I did only strictly translation without much commentary. Probably more higher realized souls can do preaching and give you more in-depth interpretation and so on. But my humble attempt was more academic and more philological translation, literal translation, verbatim translation. So we come to the last and final episode, verse 72nd of the Bhagavad Gita. I feel really blessed and so grateful and a bit emotional that when I started this journey, some people were trying to discourage me. 700 verses, how can you do this? But even a small, humble child like me of the great Mother Bhagavad Gita, great Mother India, can always bless us if we do our humble offerings little by little, whatever little strength, whatever little knowledge, whatever little we have. We just do it as a service. We do it as our respect, as our gratitude towards Mother Sanskrit, Mother India, and Mother Bhagavad Gita. I started learning. I feel so grateful that my Panditji, Prabhulalji Shastri, who is still on Facebook with me, taught me Sanskrit when I was in grade 6 in Pali, in a small temple where I was growing up in Pali. The year must be 1978, 79. All right, with all those great, and then my other teacher, Ganu Auntie, and then Professor Frederick Smith at the University of Iowa, Professor Gary Tubb at Columbia University, all those who taught me Sanskrit. And of course, in the pravachans of Pandurang Shastri Athavale, Dadaji, who always quoted Sanskrit heavily. Osho did not, but Dadaji always quoted Sanskrit. So Sanskrit is the soul of India, as probably all of you will agree. And I feel blessed that I can at least get some glimpse of Mother India through Sanskrit and through Bhagavad Gita. All right, let's come to the final episode, verse 72nd. Kashchit etat shrutam parthal. So Bhagavan Krishna is asking Arjuna now, Kashchit, somewhat, little bit, etat shrutam, having heard all this knowledge that I gave you. Tvai ekagrena chetasa, with concentrated mind, O Arjuna. Kashchit agyanu sammoha pranashtaha te dhananjaya. Not visarga again, dhananjaya, vocative, sambodhan. So pranashtaha te dhananjaya, not dhananjaya again, dhananjaya, vocative. If it is nominative, then there is a visarg, dhananjaya, subject. But here it's not subject. He's just asking Dhananjaya. Krishna is the subject. Krishna is speaking, right? So, pranashtaha te dhananjaya. Oh Arjuna, has your ignorance, your delusion, your little bit, has it been destroyed with all that you heard from me with concentrated mind? Bhagavan Krishna is now waking up Arjuna and asking this question, trying to invoke him again. So Arjuna comes back. Arjuna uvacha, verse 73rd. Arjuna uvacha. Nashtaha moha smritihi labdha tvat prasadan maya chuta maya achyuta. Krishna sthitaha asmi gata sandehaha karishye vachanam tava. one of the most quoted lines, the golden words of Arjuna, that my delusion is gone, is lost, is perished. Nashta moha. Smriti Labdha, I got my memory back. I now remember who I am, the greatest warrior ever born on this planet in India. Svat Prasadan, with your grace, Maya, by me, Achyuta, O Krishna, O unchanging, O constant. You never change, you are Achyuta, but I was changing. I was in this dilemma. So, apt adjective, epithet, Arjuna has applied to Bhagavan Krishna. Maya Achyuta, Achyuta. You are Achyuta, and I am now also following your footsteps. So, what he says, Nashtamo aspatihi libda, tat prasadan maya Achyuta, sthitaha, I became stable, standing I am, asmi, gata sandeha, my doubts are gone, dispel doubt, karishye, I will do, vachanam tava, I will follow your order, I will follow your command, I will do what you tell me to do. Amazing. And Sanjay Vacha. Sanjay also wakes up now. Oh man, Sanjay is so inspired, and what he says? Iti aham vasudevasya parthasya cha mahatmanah samvadam imam ashrosham adbhutam rom harshanam. My getting goosebumps. Sanjay is telling Dhritarashtra, his king, his boss. I'm getting goosebumps as I read this last 74th verse. Sanjay is telling his boss, look at the courage that Sanjay has mustered having listened to the dialogue of Krishna and Arjuna. What do you say? Iti aham vasudevasya parthasya cha mahatman. Those two great, this great soul Arjuna and Vasudev, Krishna, this dialogue, samadam evam ashrasham. I listened to the dialogue between the two. Adbhutam. Amazing dialogue, and I'm getting goosebump giving dialogues. My hair's standing, causing the hair to stand on. Amazing. Sanjay saying this to Dhritarashtra, his boss. Dhritarashtra is the enemy of Arjuna, but Sanjay has become so courageous that he's telling his boss what he's feeling now. 75th verse. Vyasa prasadat shutvan etad guyam aham param yogam yogeshwarat krishnat sakshat kathayatah swayam. Swayam Krishna in person, directly in his own personhood, Bhagavan Krishna has delivered this secret, most secret knowledge. Guyam aham par, supreme secret knowledge. I could listen to that supreme dialogue with the grace of Vyasa, Brahmarshi Vyasa, Bhagavan Vyasa, and this amazing union of Krishna. And by the grace of Vyasa, I have heard this supreme and most secret yoga, which Krishna, the Lord of Yoga, has divulged directly speaking himself to Arjuna. Verse 76. Amazing. Sanjay's line is also amazingly sung by Ravindra Sathe long back when I heard. What he says, Rajan Sansmitya, having recollecting, having, as I recollect again and again those words, Rajan, O Dhritarashtra, Samvadam imam adbhutam, this amazing, marvelous dialogue, Keshava Arjunayoho punyam, Rishyami cha muhur. I just rejoice again and again, recounting those amazing divine words of Krishna and Arjuna, that sacred dialogue that I could witness live with the grace of Vyasa. Vyasa graced me with this amazing blessing that I could hear live this amazing dialogue. 77th verse. Tatcha sansmritya rupam ati adbhutam harehe vismayaha me mahan rajan rishyami cha punah. I become again and again, I rejoice again and again, this amazing, mind-blowing, marvelous, amazing dialogue as I remember it again and again. Who is telling? The driver of Dhritarashtra telling his boss that I am rejoicing this dialogue because and he's frankly, he can share this amazing feeling with his boss because of the courage that this dialogue has provided to him. And finally, the last verse of this entire Bhagavad Gita, 78th verse, Yatra Yogeshwarah Krishnaha, Yatra Parthaha Dhanurdhanaha, Tatra Shrihi Vijayah Bhutihi, Dhruva Nitihi Matihi Mama. Amazing courage, conviction of Sanjay. Look at it. What Sanjay is saying now? Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna. Wherever the Yogeshwara Krishna is, Yatra Partha Dhanurdhara, wherever the archer, the greatest archer, Dhanurdhara, Arjuna is, son of Pritha is, son of Kunti is, Tatra Shri Vijaya Bhuti, their splendor, victory and wealth is assured. Dhruva Nitihi Matiham. That surely, definitely, right? This is my final thought. This is my final conclusion. And this is the conclusion of, for ages to go by, ages to come, this will be always the conclusion. Wherever Bhagavan Krishna is, wherever is supremely devoted Archer Arjuna kind of devotees are victory, splendor, and wealth. Shri, Vijaya, and Bhuti are always going to be assured. That is the final word of the Bhagavad Gita. And now, finally, we complete the 700 verses of the Bhagavad Gita. May divine Krishna's form, Vishwarup Darshan, always inspire us. May Arjuna's devotion always inspire us. With that, I take leave from you, and we will continue with more similar videos. Maybe similar series will start in weeks to come. Thank you, Namaskar, and Jai Shri Krishna.